educate yourself, firstly, is one thing I keep on pondering on, because education is the key to everything. Without education, you and I wouldn't be here.
Yes.
We wouldn't have the knowledge to speak on certain issues, talk more of advocating for those people that cannot.
Welcome to another episode of Inside the Legal Lens, where we see the world through the eyes of the law. Today's episode is titled The Power of Voice in the Society, Media, Influence and Personality. Today's esteemed guest is a young Nigerian activist, media personality and a law student. She is known for youth advocacy, human rights and civic engagement. She is the founder of the non-governmental organization Change Begins With Me, which focuses on gender equality, climate action, and access to clean water. She's also the creator of the online series titled If I Were President that discusses governance from a youth perspective. And last but not the least, she's the host of the Political Advantage platform, that is PAP, which discusses political issues in Nigeria. She is known for being bold, outspoken, and focused on justice and accountability. This great individual is none other than Hadiza Shehu Malumfashi. Welcome to Inside the Legal Lens.
Thank you so much for having me. I was cheesing as you were having your introduction. Thank you so much for having me.
You deserve it.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so starting off with the first question, how did your journey into law started and what inspired you to study law?
You know, when you grow up hearing people say, you should be a lawyer, you should be a lawyer,
Yes.
you talk a lot, you ask a lot of questions. For me, that's how it initially started.
Okay.
But unfortunately, I had a few health complications after secondary school.
Okay.
I initially wanted to join the military,
Wow.
actually.
Oh,
I wanted to join the Air Force.
Yes.
Yes, I wanted to join the Air
Yes.
Force initially because I have a very deep passion for serving the country
Yes.
in any capacity.
Yes.
So I couldn't do that because of health reasons, and the next best thing I could think of
Yes.
was law, going into the legal background,
Wow.
because I believe knowing the Constitution itself, having that background would give you a leverage over everything, and just the knowledge itself. I love learning, so it was just the best thing for me.
Okay. Wow. I'm really happy for you.
Thank
Studying law is also not a thing for me. Initially, I wanted to be a neurosurgeon. I don't know why.
Neurosurgeon?
All of
I
a sudden.
actually see that, Dr. Obeida.
Thank you. And then I said, why don't I just go for this law? At the end of the day, it's worth it.
100%.
Okay. Looking back, was there a defining moment that pushed you into law, or was it like a gradual realization? Okay, let me just...
A defining moment, I would say, after my foundation year, which I did in Lancaster University, I knew for certain that I wanted to come back to Nigeria to study the laws, because that's when my activism really took off. Okay. So I started activism roughly when I was 13, 14 or so, but I didn't have enough knowledge. So I knew I wanted to know what I was speaking about, basically. So it just kind of gave me that footing itself and made it a lot easier to make that decision. So it was gradual, but that academic year itself, this was 2022.
Okay.
And this was when I made the decision to apply to AUN, and all of that happened. So alhamdulillah.
Yeah, honestly, welcome to AUN. So,
AUN
wait, how have you been finding AUN so far?
AUN is it's an experience, I think, more than anything.
Yes.
Now, being in my fourth year, about to enter my fifth year, I believe that this is the best place for anyone to experience any college experience. Like, this is the place to be. In terms of, you're away from home, and it's the only place that I know so far that provides somewhat of a comfortable accommodation, feeding, and a community, more than anything, of people that, are like-minded. I've met fellow activists here as well, people that are very passionate about social change, and it's wonderful to see that there are people that are so politically driven within our community that I get to engage with, have serious conversations with, that I did not have in other universities or in secondary school, or other friend groups. But it's wonderful. AUN has been amazing. I think this is the best choice that I've made academically.
Wow,
yes.
that's good to hear.
Not sponsored by AUN, guys. This is, yeah.
No problem, yeah. There is this thing, you are an advocate, and advocacy work requires a lot of effort as well as your academics. How do you balance this two? I know it can be very demanding, but how do you balance the two?
Yes, I'm a bit of a time control freak. I schedule everything. My Google Calendar is packed. I know what I'm doing in 2 months on the exact day that I'm doing exact hours.
Wow.
So
In 2 months?
Yes, I know exactly what I'm doing on a particular day.
Yes.
I don't do last minute stuff. I'm very particular about my time.
Yes.
So when it comes to balancing academics, I have a very detailed schedule for when I study, especially with the amount of courses that I was taking the last academic year. I have a very specific time that I do that, and I don't let anything interrupt it. I mean, like, I close the door to my room and I don't let anybody in when it's that time. I just clear my head, do what the task that's ahead of me, and I just zero my mind through it. With activism itself, sometimes with trips, it kind of affects work here and academics. For instance, I attended the 85th ordinary session of the Human Rights Convention in the Gambia.
I think I saw it, yes.
This happened while midterms were happening on campus. So I had to write to the school and ask them if they could allow me write my exams when I was back, which thankfully Student Affairs, the Dean and the School of Law themselves were really accommodating to the idea. So it's a lot easier for me being in AU, and like I said, because other universities, they wouldn't care.
Yes, honestly speaking,
they really would not care. But they really pushed me. They were checking up and asking me how the convention was going, because it lasted about 2 weeks.
Yes.
Very intensive training that happened for us human rights
2 weeks.
defenders. Yes. It's a very long time. We were in the Gambia for some time in Banjul. It was amazing. We had the NGO forum happen, and then the ordinary session on human and people's rights.
Okay, like from your experience in this human rights advocacy, especially with these United Nations organizations, what do you think are the most pressing issues we have in Nigeria relating to like human rights?
Wow. I don't know if we have enough time to go into the discussions on
don't worry,
all that's going on with Nigeria, but I think the very first one to start with is we have a very big issue with the elephant in the room, which is corruption.
Yes.
That's the honest truth of it. Yes. That's the honest truth of it. Nigeria has the best laws on paper. Nigeria has everything set out right. We have the right resources, the right environment. We don't have the right people here. And that's what's detrimental to the development of this country. It's unfortunate to see, but every single issue that's brought up, whether if it's child marriage, whether it's, female genital mutilation, sexual instances, there's a lot of issues that happen, all boil down to the fact that our law enforcement agencies are not operating the way that they should. The legal system does not have as much integrity as it should. Unfortunately, it seems as though those with influence, those with power, control and use the police and courts as tools of intimidation for people, which is unfortunate.
I honestly believe as well that Nigeria have all the necessary resources for us to, let's say, carry out legal enforcement. But the problem, like at the end of the day, falls back to implementation. We are not implementing it 100%. Enough. Okay, this is more like an icebreaker session. It's not that we haven't gone fire, but it's more like an icebreaker. Studying law, a lot of people have complained that lawyers are liars, lawyers don't know how to solve maths, a lot of misconceptions that we have about. Have you ever heard of any misconception that you wish to clarify today that is not true about law students? That's not how it is.
I think people think we're in a cult.
Thank you. I thought I was the only one.
The legal profession is not a cult. People see us all like in our black and white, we're preposterous, like we have so much ego.
Yes, we are arrogant.
Yes, we're arrogant. I would debunk the fact that we're in a cult, but there's a sort of pride that comes with having certain knowledge. And when you have this massive book in your head, there's no way that you can't help but feel yourself a bit, because it's not easy to carry it in your head.
It's not easy to study law, honestly.
It isn't. It's not easy for you to sit down here and somebody asks you, oh, what section, this, what section, and you're able to read out the whole thing. It's so that's one misconception. We're not in a cult, but that arrogance
is there. Yeah, sorry, apologies.
Well, sorry, not sorry.
Okay, Now, being an advocate, I know you use the social media. Is your strongest? Is where your strongest presence is.
Yes.
I want to ask: can you like differentiate between freedom of expression and like hate speech? Basically, what you're trying to do is just free. You are just exercising your freedom of expression as a law student.
Thank you for that question. I think it's really important to note that just as we are all humans and we do make error, but the Constitution is very clear in terms of where that barrier is itself. But for someone like me that has, like you said, the engagement comes sometimes online, most times, I can say this on here. I've been detained by the police because of my activism.
Seriously?
Yes, I have.
Wow.
And it's a thing where you have to know your rights.
This is bad.
Yes, you have to know your rights because they would try to manipulate those two things.
Honestly
Freedom
speaking.
of expression, or is it hate speech?
Okay.
But the honest truth, it is all boils down to you as the oppressed. If you speak up, you have every right to.
Yes.
You have every single right to. But in a country like Nigeria, where, as I said earlier, those in power use the police and courts as tools of intimidation to silence people, it's unfortunate. I mean, we have cases of ladies such as Hadiza Shehu, which it's an enforced disappearance now, where she is an activist and she went through what's similar to, I believe, what Gambo Sawaba went through, you know, the intense intimidation, the kidnapping, the enforced disappearances. It's terrible, to say the least, but that's what we sign up for. I mean, it's not easy at the end of the day, but this is, somebody has to do it. Somebody has to do it. It's unfortunate, but the thin line is there, like you said, but it's very clear.
Okay. Yeah. There is this thing that I've been meaning to ask. You know, when it comes down, like, as we are talking on the human rights advocacy and a lot of things, there are people that claim the Nigerian police, let's say the Nigerian legal enforcement agencies in general, don't really want the citizens to know their rights because at the end of the day, they use it to abuse them. Do you think it is true that at times legal enforcement agencies are gatekeeping some of the rights we ought to know as citizens of Nigeria?
I think in terms of this, I'm really glad that AUN gives us the exposure because I joined on one of those law clinics and I was shocked to hear that these people actually do not know their rights. I would not say it's the fault of the police. I would say that the law does not aid the ignorant.
Yes.
It is your duty as a citizen of a country to know your right.
Yes.
You know, and you just have to. Nobody will come and fight for you. You have to stand up like kasanchiwan kanka, that's as we say it in Hausa. You have to know it. You know, even though they would try their best to intimidate you because of the force, but so long as you know, nobody can cheat that knowledge out of you.
Okay. Like, there is also another question here. As someone with influence, have you ever rethink your decision about coming online and talking on a particular topic because of how sensitive it is, or because you fear it might cause controversy, so you decided to hold it back? Let me just step down on this one. Have you ever had this kind of thoughts regarding any situation in Nigeria?
I have never.
Okay, wow.
I have never.
She's bold.
I mean, the honest truth is, from the learning experience itself, I knew for a fact that going into the line of work that I do, activism, anything that is wrong, I will speak on it. There's nothing I haven't spoken on. Things that have caused me personal backlash in my life, things that have made my family people have meetings about me, you know, personal things. But at the end of the day, what is right is right, what is wrong is wrong. We'll call a spade, and I will always do that. That's the honest truth. There was a time where, unfortunately, a young boy that I knew, personally actually, had a sexual assault case with a young girl. Unfortunately. And because of his influence, he was trying to get away with it. We had a close relationship, but it did not stop me from calling him out. It's unfortunate, but that's you just have to. You just have to. It's, I've never shied away from speaking on any topic, and I believe and I hope that I would be able to continue this way, because we need these I'm not going to say we need people like me, but this characteristic
We actually do need people like you. That's the honest truth. We actually do need people like you.
This characteristic is something that I've seen people shy away from, because they don't want to touch on sensitive topics, because they don't want to offend people. They don't want to step on the wrong toes. But the honest truth is, if you're out here to please everybody, you're just a fool.
Honestly speaking, that's the truth.
You just be a fool. That's the honest truth.
Okay, thank you very much. You have also said something about like your advocacy and your personal relationships. Do you think being an influential person somehow invades your personal space, and in what way does it invade your personal space sometimes?
100%, 100%.
Wow.
I mean,
Yes.
it's been very difficult to keep quality friendships and actual relationships with people.
Yes.
In terms of romantic relationships, I mean.
Yes.
It's very difficult to, because most people are not comfortable with the idea of how bold I am.
Yes.
And how much I speak publicly and
Yes.
very passionately about certain topics.
Yes.
Like girl-child marriage, you know, for
Yes.
instance, maybe the man in their family, they have their sisters that are married. Like, I
Yes.
speak very
I understand,
passionately, and I
yes.
will not ever mellow myself down to fit anybody's idea of me or what they think I should be.
Okay.
That's why it's amazing that at the end of the day, you know, though it might affect certain relationships, what's meant for you will never, you know, leave you. It would always find you. And I'm grateful for the friends, the family, the relationships that I
Yes.
have with people, because they are my driving force too.
What final message do you have for the public that are watching this in terms of law?
The honest truth is, the law governs everything in our society. Every single aspect of life, the law is there. And it's crucial and adamant on you as a citizen to educate yourself, firstly. Is one thing I keep on pondering on, because education is the key to everything. Without education, you and I wouldn't be here.
Yes.
We wouldn't have the knowledge to speak on certain issues, talk more of advocating for those people that cannot. So I would say stay informed. I think it's the one thing, that's one message that I would always say. Don't just speak on things that you don't know. Always make sure that you are learned. And that's why it's beautiful. The
Yes.
legal profession, we refer to ourselves as learned colleagues.
Yes, learned colleagues.
Exactly. It's something different.
Okay. Before we go out, there is something I need to say. If you know Hadiza, you know she knows polo. If you know Hadiza, you are basically saying polo. In fact, I know Hadiza because of polo. When you say polo, you know that you are talking about Hadiza Shehu Malumfashi.
Oh, wow.
And she even have her own polo magazine, in case you people don't know. Let me tell you.
Yes.
Sorry, Hadiza. You just have to tell us a little bit about polo.
It's okay.
Yes.
It's okay. It's fine. Okay, so polo is a game played on horseback. It's an equestrian sport. It's played on a field that's about 6 to 8 times the size of a football pitch, and it has about 4 people on each team. Usually, most times there's arena polo, which has three people because of the size, but the majority type of polo, there are 3. There's grass polo, which is field polo, the most common one. There's arena polo, which is in a sandlot type situation. Then there's snow polo, which is played on ice.
Yes.
Very fascinating. Like, God, take us to Switzerland one day so we can experience
yes.
that. So different types of polo, different equipments that you need. But at the heart of being an equestrian, at the heart of being a polo player, what I really do love is animals, and I love horses the most.
Yes.
That's my
Wow.
passion. I really love nurturing animals. Like,
Yes.
that's, you know, maybe I would say it's the woman.
What's the name
in
of
me
your
speaking.
horse?
I have 2 horses. One is named Maya, one is named Marquise.
Oh, Maya Marcus.
Yes, that's what I refer to them as, the power duo.
Okay.
But they're amazing, and I'm really grateful that aside from just the horses that I have, because they recently just came into my life,
Yes.
I was able to save up to buy them just 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
But throughout my polo journey, alhamdulillah, I'm so grateful for the community in the polo circle that would always just be there for the ladies that
Yes,
don't have,
yes.
you know. And it's amazing. They really saw the work ethic. They saw how willing I was to learn
Yes.
the sport, and it's just been up from there.
Okay.
Amazing.
Thank you very much, Hadiza, for being on today's episode. The Power of Voice in the Society, Media, Influence and Personality. We hope to see you again in the future.
Thank you
as
so
a
much for
son
having
or
me.
judge.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for having me.